Hi everyone, welcome to today's altcoin Bible. Yes, apologies for my voice. I can't catch a break. I reckon I can count the amount of times in the last 3 or 4 months that I haven't been sick. But look, the markets are really, really interesting right now, and I did want to do this session for everyone because I think it's still very, very important to watch how things are going. It very much does look like we're in a bit of a holding pattern after the FOMC meeting that is dropping, I think, this evening or this afternoon. I'll have to double check it. It could be early tomorrow morning or later this afternoon, but I'm pretty sure it's within the next 24-hour window. So again, I think markets are in a little bit of a holding pattern here. Also, there's a growing dynamic as well on the back of Trump's speech there the other day at Bitcoin 2024. We just have to watch the political situation because I'm noticing how Kamala Harris's polls are increasing in terms of her popularity in some of the swing states, which obviously puts her right back into contention for the US presidency. Trump's still sort of the flyaway front runner right now, according to prediction markets. So I really look at those. The polls are very hit or miss. Trump supporters tend to come out, and we've seen like the Hillary Clinton election, polls were telling us that it was going to be a landslide to Hillary Clinton, and his supporters came out and won the election. So I'm more paying attention to that. But still, I think right now, because of Trump's speech at 2024 about the reserve asset, um, I think there's going to be some swings in the market depending on the political popularity of his opponent. So Kamala Harris has been very non-committal. Looks like she's going to continue the Biden Harris policies with Elizabeth Warren at the helm so far. So again, Trump and crypto in the near term look to be quite tightly linked together. I think Bitcoin's still going to do its own thing, when it rips through the top of the range and whatnot. But if there are little signposts along the way that maybe Trump is losing some momentum, which does look like, again, it's kind of lost a little bit over the last, couple of weeks since Kamala's come in, and that was always to be expected. The Democratic Party, and I guess their situation was so poor, they were always going to have I guess, euphoric relief bounce. They've done really, really well, to be honest. But how long will that last? We'll just have to see. So let's get into the charts. Now, we're seeing some really good inflows come in via Bitcoin, via the ETFs in the US. We're also seeing a slowdown in the Ethereum ETF as well in terms of the outflows from Grayscale. So I tend to think that, and I'm going to be covering this in our newsletter tomorrow, guys, in terms about Ethereum, the bull case for Ethereum, and cover a bit more about what I'm seeing with the ETF. But I think the longer this goes, the FE Trust only has about $9 billion worth of Ethereum in there, and it's already lost about $1.5 billion, the last that I've seen. And when we looked at the Bitcoin Grayscale Trust, as it approached 60 and 50% in terms of a drawdown in what was in the trust, we saw the outflows really start to cool, and then those inflows began to really take over and push this high. So I think Ethereum is going to move sooner than we think, and it's going to be quite aggressive and out of nowhere. It is very much a hated asset. So I'll cover that in a sec, but just wanted to give you a bit of the lay of the land. I'm going to cover that at the back end here. So my one to watch this week is actually ICP. I don't cover ICP very often, but it's an interesting chart because it is symptomatic of a lot of other cryptos out there. I know Stacks looks very similar to this and a couple of others. So a lot of these charts have had that relief bounce and it's had that consolidation back. Now, what's really helpful here is if you pay attention to our newsletter signals, which is the last Thursday on every single month, you'd see I have them overlaid here, which is really, really useful. So it's dropped into that perfect strong buy area, that $8.80 region. Really, really like that. Now, the reason why that's there is it's around the Fibonacci level. If we pull back here to the 0.382, it's also a key horizontal here. It's where we had the breakdown and then the retest underneath, and then the drop down, and we blitz through there again. But this is a really important level for ICP, and if I'm just kind of looking at it here, as it's come back to this 100 moving average, I quite like this here in terms of a consolidation. I wouldn't want it to see it drop it a little much more, but if I was to just draw a simple descending wedge type formation, maybe from that wick over there, or you could maybe draw it like this downward sort of wedge. We're very clearly moving through this pattern into support, so we're heading into that volume area. RSI is trying to curl up here. Stoke RSI has bottomed, so I would really love to see this blast through this green line here, which is the 20 moving average at that support. So really, I would be thinking, get quite aggressive if it starts to get through that $9.79 $9.80 region, and then we're moving through here. So ICP definitely one to watch. Again, same with Stacks, very similar to the Bitcoin chart. Stacks is kind of doing a double top, but there's a hidden bullish divergence starting to emerge like Bitcoin's chart. So just very, very interesting. It does feel like we're beginning to coil up for that next leg. It's just when are we going to make the move? Okay, let's have a look here at my cherry ripe. So I actually really wanted to go away from Solana this way because I almost put it in all my altcoin Bibles of late, but it is hard because it is the best looking chart almost out there, and it's so obvious, and it's one of the big three, and everyone really likes Solana. Most people own it in their portfolios, and why I say that is this is a very clear descending wedge. You can see here, hit, 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 but then we blasted through out of it, and we're holding above that 10 EMA, that white line. So it's a very clear downtrend that we actually broke earlier than I thought we would, but still, that's a really strong move. I've got the buy zones here back down 166 at the breakout level. You could get down there if, we had a Bitcoin moves back down to 61,000, which is definitely a possibility if we lose that 65,000 level. I think Solana follows it. But right now, I mean, she's looking pretty good, to be honest. I thought she looked really heavy up here. She's had a little bit of a correction back to the 10 EMA. It's holding. If it can hold the 0.382 and the 10 EMA, then I think it could actually be winding up for that big move to 200 to 250. But that said, I would not want to lose this structural level here about 174. So, actually, no, the level really is 170. So 174, 175, we'll see 170 real quick. And if we lose 170, then we're coming into these buy zones. We're going to hit these horizontals. We're going to fill that area out. But broadly, though, the RSI looks quite nice. It's sort of come back to the midpoint. It's below the moving average. I think she's trying to curl back up. Stochastic RSI is trying to reset as well. So we can hold up here. Generally, though, when we see this type of pattern emerge, it's it does want to come back a little bit further. But if the strength in Solana is really, really strong, this could just see more continuation. So yeah, I think just broadly, I wanted to show this larger chart because it is really, really nice to look at with breaking of that downtrend. So again, generally we do see a pullback a little bit deeper. It did hit it on the nose over here, but I think we'll probably fill out this wick and area a little bit more. Okay, so I wanted to show you a layer two because layer twos have just been smashed over the head for a very, very long time. Now, there are a couple of danger zones that I was looking at, namely meme coins, Dogecoin, some others. The only one that looked semi-decent was, I think, Pepe and Whiff. Anything that's on really Solana's holding up okay. But anything else, like the older coins, Doge and Sheep and some of those, they're just not looking that great. And I really want to wait for confirmation as they recover some levels. But let's move back onto the layer twos. I think layer twos are going to do really, really well, but Ethereum has to break that $4,000 level and really start to crack the range high. So layer twos are a really interesting one to watch right now in terms of danger zones because they're not making the higher highs. Right now, OP, and I'm going to focus on this, and Arbitrum looks rubbish, similarly rubbish, and a couple of the other layer twos look pretty similar, but you can just see here, it run into the 200-day moving average, then it lost the 20, the 10, and the 100, fell over, did the same thing here, tried to recover, and then fell over. So these cluster of moving averages are being really adhered to as resistance, and I'm not seeing any type of break. So what we need to see, like I said, guys, with a lower high situation, is very, very clear downtrend. What we want to see is a break from that. We want to push up, create a higher low and a higher high. So new higher high and new higher low. And we're breaking this and we're creating a new uptrend. So that's what we really want to see here. But right now we've lost the horizontal, we've lost all the moving averages. So we could very well see a run back into this kind of volume support here, and then a run into this kind of area here, which would be very typical of sort of corrections and how they sort of run, where creates a higher low overall, but it's not finished with the correction. This also could go lower, but because Ethereum is sort of gearing up for its eventual break higher, and there's nothing conclusive here yet. It's trying to do its best. FBTC is looking a lot better. This could be a rising channel, which is a bearish formation that's just trying to move a little bit higher here, and then it breaks down back into the demand zone. That absolutely could happen. But it's on top of the 200 and it's grappling with the 10. So what I really want to see, obviously, from Ethereum is a breakup like that and then moves into that sell block. But right now, proof is in the pudding a little bit. So danger zone are L2s, and maybe Ethereum moving back to that demand zone. Again, Ethereum's volatility is very small, so I'm not really concerned about Ethereum. If you're a long-term bull, I think the good times are very, very close. But in the short term, I think that demand zone is very, very interesting as a buy point if it comes back into this kind of 3100, 3200 region. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching this. If you haven't subscribed of our newsletter, make sure to stay tuned for tomorrow's release about the ETH Bull Case. As well, if you're not a current client of CCI and our VIP immersion course, if you want to learn more about what I'm doing here and how to apply these technical skills to the charts and that broader insight around what's happening with ETFs and different things like that, you get all that from our course, and then you can also become an elite mastermind at the end. So if you're not a client and you're interested in doing a comprehensive course that will give you an A to Z insight into how to pick this industry apart and become a really successful investor, make sure to reach out on the link below and talk to one of the team and have a chat. So have a wonderful day, guys. See you soon. Bye-bye.